This one, you should hear what's coming in into the stream, right? Because you're watching it there. Coming from here, Jeremy.
Where's the sound coming from?
There. 18.
Yeah, but there's nothing. Where's the input?
Ethernet cable. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You have a great plan, then end up running cables to the front of house console, all because you couldn't get the routing set up correct to do everything over the single Ethernet cable. Well, I am guilty of this, and now I've spent years so learning AES-50 routing to I'm a user of the X32 series of products. I love production, but I'm not really an audio engineer. I understand the hardware super well, and I surround myself with audio professionals who are extremely good at their craft. So save this video in your bookmarks, send it to your friends so that you can reference back as often as necessary. These routing videos are just as much for my own reference as they are designed to be a resource to the churches that I seek to serve. To get started, let's look at the X32 series of consoles and what hardware options are available. Here I have an X32 Compact. This is a smaller version of the full-size X32 console. Behringer also makes the X32 Producer, which is a few $100s cheaper than this Compact, but it doesn't have these channel strips on each channel so that you know what's happening. Midas also has the M32, which looks a little different, but is basically a full-size X32 with Midas preamps. The X32 rack here is a rack-mounted unit that has all of the same I/O as the Compact, but it has no control surface with the faders. As we get into this, I'm going to assume that you have a rough understanding of how this console operates. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments or send me an email to crazyamazingnathan@gmail.com. On my website, crazyamazingdesigns.com, you can download my show file, which will give you my default routing and console layout. While you are there, grab the X32 routing master file, which is more than a cheat sheet, but a PDF that puts on paper all of the routing info we're learning in these videos to help you quickly get set up with the perfect routing on your console while helping you easily understand X32 routing. If you download my show file, then your console should be exactly laid out as mine. Always be sure to save your existing scene, especially if you're about to make changes to someone else's scene. Push the View button, tab over one page to Scene, then pick a empty scene slot, hit Save. It's going to ask you to set a name, and then you can just go ahead and hit Save. And if you're overwriting an existing scene, you have to select Override. The ability to save a scene is so valuable as we learn. This allows us to make any changes without worrying about getting the console back the way we found it. Just recall the previously saved scene. So here I have a microphone and an XLR cable, and I'm going to go ahead and plug this into input 1 on the back of this console. Now I'm going to go to the routing page. This is the routing button, and then the first page over, the first tab is inputs. This is where we're going to assign all of our inputs for this console. How this page works is there's 4 sections that each contain 8 channels of audio. So on the left, we have inputs 1 through 8, then 9 through 16, 17, 24, and 25 to 32. Then the final column says aux inputs. And on the back of the console, there are 8 quarter-inch aux inputs on this console. So you probably guessed that inputs 1 through 8 correlates with faders 1 through 8. The X32 Compact has these 4 buttons on the side here. So we've got 1 through 8, 9 through 16, 17 to 24, 25 to 32. So it makes it slightly easier to remember the banks are directly correlated with the buttons and the fader bank. So under inputs 1 through 8 in routing, I'm going to select local 1 through 8 as the source, and this is where we're going to be pulling all of our audio from for the bank 1 through 8. Now if I go to the 1 through 8 page, this console has 16 local XLR inputs and 8 quarter-inch aux inputs. In a minute, we're going to see signal on channel input 1 from the microphone we plugged in on local input 1. However, because this is a digital console, we can't assume that because we plug a mic into input 1 that we're going to get signal in channel 1. So let's make sure that channel 1 is set to receive audio from source input channel 1. How we want to do this is by pushing the select button on the channel we want to select. So in my case, I'll push the select button just above the channel 1 fader, and it'll light up as my confirmation, as well as on the screen in the top left, you'll see the little graphic that'll show up. Now I can tab over, if I click home, I can tab over one page to the config page. And here in the bottom left, or in the left side, we're going to see source. This is where we can select the input that gets routed to this channel. Let's make sure the source is set to input 1 since this is channel 1. Then I'll go through the rest of them by pushing select, then confirm all 32 input channels sources are set 1-to-1 to their channel number. Back before firmware version 4.04.1 released in November of 2020, routing looked a lot different on the X32. The best option for routing a specific source to a specific channel was to change the input source on the channel level. Let's say we wanted an input to play music from our iPhone plugged into aux 1 and 2. Actually, I have a cable right here. Let's plug it into aux 1 and 2. Aux 1, aux 2. We want to control it on channels 5 and 6 versus going over to the aux page and you can see my music playing. So we want to bring it up to inputs 5 and 6, channels 5 and 6.
All right. Johnny, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Still need to catch up, huh? 14, 15. Now leave the volume up. Same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
So the question is, well, it's so crowded when you have 5 instruments and singers and everybody is installed.